Welcome to Learning Language with Mrs. Lindsay. Today we will be focusing on graphic organizers, and we will be looking at a specific graphic organizer called a Venn diagram. What are graphic organizers? Graphic organizers are like a map. It can help you to visualize your ideas, organize information, plan what to write, brainstorm, and so much more. Just look at the one on the screen. Imagine you are trying to decide what job you want. You can use a graphic organizer to outline your skills, your experience, and your qualities to make a decision as to whether or not you are fit for the job. Look at other examples of graphic organizers shown on the screen. Now on to Venn diagram. How can we use Venn diagrams in English language? This simple graphic organizer makes it easy for you students to understand how two things are both different and alike at the same time. Look at this graphic organizer, the Venn diagram. There are two circles that overlap. Each circle represents one item that is being compared, item 1 and item 2. The first circle with only yellow represents the qualities that are unique to item 1. That means only item 1 has these qualities. The second circle with only blue represents qualities that are unique to item 2. That means only item 2 have these qualities. The third circle, however, has a little blue and yellow. So in this circle are things that both item 1 and item 2 have in common. In language arts, Venn diagrams can be used to compare characteristics in two different books or two characters in the same book. Do you remember the story called A Cow Called Boy? Let's look at how two characters in this book can be compared using a Venn diagram. We're going to look at the characters Josh Mahan and Mr. Ben Watson. Josh Mahan attended primary school. Josh Mahan got in trouble for taking a calf to school. Mr. Ben Watson is a shopkeeper. Mr. Ben Watson smokes cigars. And now let's look in the overlap where the two circles intersect. Both Josh Mahan and Mr. Ben Watson are determined. Both Josh Mahan and Mr. Ben Watson are strong-willed. Both Josh Mahan and Mr. Ben Watson wanted Boy the cow. A Venn diagram can also be used to plan an essay that compares or contrasts two things. Compares is when we're looking at the similarities, and contrasts is when we're looking at the differences. For example, you may need to write an essay to compare and look at the differences between a fish and a whale. Let's look at the comparison. They are alike because they both live in the water, and that is written in the overlap. Contrast. Only fish have scales, so that would go in the fish-only circle. Only whales breathe air, and that would go in the whale-only circle. Let's look at how it would be drawn on a Venn diagram. Can you see? In the whales-only circle, we have only whales breathe air. In the fish-only circle, we have only fish have scales. But in the overlap where the two circles intersect, we have the similarities between both whales and fish. They both live in the water. A Venn diagram can also be used to brainstorm ideas when writing a story. For example, each circle may represent a character in the story, and you may write down personality traits or even events that happens to each character separately. Then use the overlap to figure out where the characters interact in the story. A Venn diagram can also be used to help make decisions. A Venn diagram can also be used like a list of pros and cons. When making a decision, maybe you want to go on social media and just browse all afternoon, but you have a big quiz the next morning. You can use a Venn diagram to help you decide. This is the end of our presentation. I hope you would have learned all that you needed to use Venn diagrams in English language. See you next time.